Welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Bipelo, and as you can see, I am chilling with the gorgeous, the wife, the friend, the digital content creator, the mom. Essie, she's so cute. Buli Makhubo, the woman of God, more than anything. So I'm so honored to have you here, and I'm just so amazed. You know, when I sent that, I was like, oh my gosh, Lord, please can she say yes? And you did, and you were here early, so professional. I'm so honored to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me. You sent me the message and I was on holiday and I'm like, ma'am. But I was like, no, we'll do it.
I sent it in December.
And
I knew, I was like, you know
vacay.
what? This is the wrong time to ask someone to do work, but yeah.
No, I get it. So I was like, no.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So we'll be talking purpose, marriage, friendship. We'll be talking anything that the Holy Spirit leads. We are very open to having an open and honest conversation. And one of the things that she said was, whatever you want to talk about, there's nothing off the table. And we really value that about you, your vulnerability, your transparency. So yeah, I mean, let's get into it. How do you define purpose? And I'm asking you this because you started YouTube, which is like now what you're doing, more like digital stuff, when it wasn't famous, when it wasn't even like a thing, when it wasn't, you know, you started YouTube doing like fitness stuff, more health and beauty, that kind of thing. Did you know that it was in your purpose, or were you like, let me just do this? What is purpose to you?
So purpose to me is, I guess, what I could finally explain, I think even last year. Purpose for me is just doing what God tells you to do.
Sure.
And I think someone like me who, for lack of a better word, so for example, my husband loves medicine.
Yeah.
When it comes to medicine, he's not trying to do anything else but that. And it's easy for people who are passionate about one thing or who are good at one thing to say, yes, this is my purpose.
Sure.
And then you find someone else who you can do this, and then you can do this, and then you can sing, and then you can't dance, and then you get confused, and then people tell you jack of all trades, master of none. And you're like, Jesus, now where do I fit in? I'm going to look like I'm crazy.
Sure.
Until God was like, just do what I tell you to do.
Sure.
And then you fulfill that role. And that's purpose. Purpose is, it's not this one defining thing. It's just when God says, I want you to do this, then do that. Because he can say that even to someone who has one passion. He can say, if you're a medical person, there's ways in which he leads you even in that field, you know. But it's just about hearing what God wants you to do and doing that. So one day, for example, I could be on YouTube, but it doesn't mean that I don't have a desire to do something else, and it doesn't mean that I shouldn't be a great mom, and it doesn't mean that I shouldn't be a great wife. I just have to do what God tells me to do, because my brain can open 15 tabs at one time, and then it becomes sporadic. But so that's what it is for me, and I think it's freeing as well when people hear that. It's just do that, even if it's just that one thing. I promise it will lead to the next thing.
We have similar stories because my husband as well is very passionate about accounting. It's like accounting, property, that's just my jam. And he's also like very focused when it comes to that. So I often feel, because I'm also like everywhere, I'm just like, I like this, and I like this, and I like this. I feel like running is my purpose, but I wouldn't like necessarily go to the Olympics. I feel like this is my purpose, but I wouldn't, you know, so I've always felt like I have so many things, and then there's this one person who's sure of this very thing because maybe they are more academically gifted or inclined to sing, they are talented with their voice. So I think it will be really freeing for people who are watching, who are like, I don't have this one thing where everyone is looking and they're saying you should be a model because you look this good and you're this and whatever. So I really think it'll be freeing. So how does one then discover their purpose? Let's say someone is sitting at home and saying, I don't know if I can hear God's voice. Like, I don't know. I'm very confused. Is he telling me what to do, or am I thinking what I should be doing? Like, how does one discover it?
You discover it by doing something. And by doing something, that's when you realize, no, I don't like it. And then do the next best thing.
Sure.
I think that's the easiest, right? Because life is meant to be practical.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, especially as Christian people, we wait for blood to be written on the wall.
Yeah.
And, Lord, you have to tell me, and it must be direct. And it's like, no, just do what you can where you are with what you have.
Yeah.
So if you're able to get a job, I mean, even before Kev proposed when I just finished my honors.
Yeah.
I'm studying my honors. So he proposed, and my kind of family life was, we can go to school. I mean, parents are there, thank God. They can take care of whatever we need. I wasn't rushed to go to work. But then I realized, this guy proposed, I'm leaving this house.
Yeah.
That means I need what? Money.
Yeah.
And when I sent out applications, I was like, give me admin.
Sure.
So I can do it.
Yeah.
I don't need to be in the architectural space or in the built environment. I did apply there, but I know that I'm also good at organizing stuff. So, or planning things or administrative things. So
Sure.
I'll do admin. I don't care because it's what I need to do right now. Even at church, you kind of gravitate towards where I guess where your heart tugs.
Yeah.
So I know I wouldn't be a great usher because sometimes I'm just like, people, okay. Lord, your people, I can't. So I'm not about, I'm not going to do that because you also then know yourself. But where your heart pulls you, serve there, serve there. I served, I'm serving at the youth right now. In the main church, I was serving at the sign language department.
Sure.
And I learned it from scratch.
Wow.
Because that was where my heart was. And I love it. If I had to serve in the main church, that's what I'm doing.
Sure.
That's where my heart is. So it's just those things about doing what you can where you are. You don't have to find dramatic things. Also, we don't have to always want to be at the top. Just serve. Do what you can. I remember when I did my first internship, I think they gave me 2,000 Rand.
Sure.
But it was at least it made me realize that actually I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Besides the money. So those are the things. Just do something. Just do, and that's the thing. We like to complicate our lives sometimes when it comes to things like purpose. God is so simple, man.
Sure.
Yeah, he's not complicated. Yeah.
Sure. You know, what's going in my mind now is someone is sitting there like, I know what to do, but I don't have the courage. And I think that's something that stops a lot of people from pursuing something. I know what's tugging me, but I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of people, because people can be so cruel.
Ma'am.
Like you try something and you're putting yourself out there and it's taken everything from you. And then the first thing you get is rejection. The first thing you get is, no, it's not good enough. Or someone says, maybe I'm trying, but I keep getting rejected. So what would you say firstly to the person who is afraid, doesn't have courage to do it, who's like, I know what I should do, but I'm just afraid of failure, afraid of the unknown? And then secondly, to someone who says, I've been trying, but I've been getting rejected so many times. I've been applying for that job, but they aren't taking me. I've been trying to get into voiceovers. No agencies will pick me up.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people?
Sure. I think the first one, when it comes to fear, right? You said fear. Yeah. So fear for me sometimes hurts you more than it will hurt other people.
Sure.
It cripples you essentially because you are thinking for other people.
Sure.
And it's something, especially now you also do YouTube. So you can already see it. Sometimes you're hesitant to pull out your vlogging camera because I want to shoot this content, but you're thinking of, oh my gosh, and there's people around. And most of the time, those people, number one, don't know you from a bar of soap.
Yeah.
And they probably might not even ever see you again.
Yeah.
So now we're thinking for people, and our duty for the day is now null and void because we're thinking about what someone else is going to say or think. And that cripples us. We end up sleeping or going to bed at night with so much more regret than the 2 seconds of fear that you had. And I think a word that God told me personally, he was like, do it afraid.
Sure.
Sometimes people are like, how do you just get so confident? I'm like, for the longest time, up until I got married to Kev, I never watched my videos on YouTube.
Sure.
I would edit and make sure they're fine and post them like, okay, cool. Because I was like, ooh, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Until Kev was like, oh, no, let's watch it together.
Yeah.
But now when I watch it, at least I'm getting tips. Oh, actually, I shouldn't do that. I should do that. I shouldn't do that. But for the most part, especially in the beginning, I was afraid.
Sure.
I was afraid. So do it afraid. Otherwise, someone else, it's going to kill you inside when you see someone else doing exactly what you were meant to do.
Yeah.
So that's also another thing. When it comes to rejection, geez, I would need hands and toes to count how many times I've been rejected.
Sure.
And you realize that it's part of life, right? It's part of life. Sometimes it's the will of man.
Sure.
But what I mean by when I say that, sometimes people are just nasty, that even if God says go, their hearts are hardened. So they're going to reject you. We see that in the Bible so many times, that even though this is what God wanted, there's a king or there's a prince or there's someone out there who's going to be stubborn and say, no, it's part of life.
Sure.
I think it's that thing of saying, Lord, how do I find a way in, or help me to build the courage, sometimes even just the mental strength and the mental capacity to not make it seem like this is a direct reflection of who I am. Because then people then begin to look in the mirror and say, but okay, the problem is me, I'm not good enough. That's not the case.
Sure.
That's not the case. Sometimes it's part of life. Sometimes it's you just need to keep going. Sometimes also what I have learned is that even though it's a desire at that time, it's not something that will give you longevity. It's not for you right now. So there's so much to it. And it's not about being insensitive, because again, I'll say there's so many times where I've been rejected. And I probably will be, because that's a part of life. But there's just so much more once you get to the other side and you're like, God, I understand. But sometimes you're still like, hey, I would have liked it, but maybe next time. Maybe next time. It's just something that we have to go through. My only desire is that we go through it with the mental strength and confidence that God will keep us mentally, emotionally, and that it won't reflect on us, I guess, in an unhealthy way.
Sure. That's so good. That's so good. Let's get into being a public figure now, because we're on purpose, and your purpose has gotten you so many followers. Going after what God has been telling you has given you a big platform, What is it like? What are the pros and cons to being an influencer? It's something that people like now. We look up to you guys and we think, perfect marriage, perfect house, everything is clean, perfect content. I mean, they're even vlogging their cleaning days and it's already clean. I'm just like, how are you cleaning and it's already clean? But what are the pros and cons? But also there's that other side where it's negative comments on your videos. It's people making videos about you now. What are the pros and cons to having all this influence?
I think what we need to first understand is, especially within this industry, I just hope people understand, sometimes you need to watch things and just take it for that and not assume that everything in their life is going great.
Sure.
Because, for example, I could be arguing with Kev and then we can switch on the camera and be like, hey guys, welcome to So that in itself is when people need to realize I'm putting out content for a reason, but it doesn't mean it reflects the totality of my life. So just give what, receive what people give you and keep it at that, and don't make assumptions, because that's when people get shocked. The next day when they are sending out statements, unfortunately, we couldn't survive this. You're like, what? Yesterday, they were just together. You understand? And that's the thing about social media. Social media doesn't paint the full picture.
Sure.
It doesn't paint the full picture. So that's a con for me. The con is, again, that because it doesn't paint a full picture, people then choose to decide certain narratives, and you sometimes have to feel like, oh Lord, am I going to be the bigger person? Lord, do I have to keep quiet about this? There's certain things where I said, Lord, I'm not, because when people come to you with negative comments and it affects maybe my children or my marriage or my husband or myself, that's when we're going to fight.
Sure.
Because you're touching sensitive things. But it doesn't matter. If you complain about my dress, my nails, my weave, that's okay. I don't have a problem with that, because those things are fickle. But it's just part of it. It's just part of it. The people who consume your content, you don't know who they are, and obviously you don't know what they go through and the lens in which they view life. So whenever they watch your videos, they're probably like, hey, Lorna, zomshubela one day. That's just their lens. unfortunately, because of what they've gone through. But the pros will always be opportunity.
Yeah.
It will be the fact that it gives you opportunity to reach people.
Sure.
It gives you opportunity to get an income.
Yeah.
It gives you an opportunity to be creative.
Sure.
It gives you an opportunity to touch lives. I always thought to God, because I was just like, Lord, sometimes I have so much of your word in me, and I'm like, when we still had the old youth, which was young adults, I was like, am I going to stay here long enough to share? Because obviously, you can't just come and say, I've got a word to share. No, you serve, But God is like, your pulpit, that's your pulpit. That's where you get to do ministry. It's not the most traditional way. And look at where we are now in this age of COVID.
Yeah.
People are more digital right now. People are more digital. So you're able to reach people. Doesn't have to be in the most structural way. So those are the pros and cons. And the pros is that you also get to meet people, meet like-minded people, see new things, learn new things. So as much as there's good, there's definitely bad. And the bad is you need thick skin. You need to learn how to press the block button, learn how to mute and delete.
Sure.
And who's fruits of the spread. But it comes with it. It's tough sometimes, but it comes with it.
You do seem like you have thick skin. You really do. Because when we were at the backyard picnic, they were saying that Buli will fight you for us. Like, this is the person we fetch.
No, that's
to
definitely.
fight.
Definitely. When it comes to my relationships, I don't play. You can, like I said, funny things and silly things, you can talk to me sideways, but I protect those that I love. When it comes to my family and friends that I care deeply for, hey, man, let's go. Let's go. You'll be like, that's me. That's me.
But you literally have a global impact, and literally that's God's doing. God wants for us to have that kind of impact, especially those who carry his word, those who carry his presence, those who carry his spirit. We need to not just think, okay, now I'm called to be a pastor, I'm called to be a teacher of the word. When you spend time with him daily, it can be you having an impact elsewhere. So how does being an influencer impact your day-to-day? Like, do you always have makeup when you go to the grocery store? Really?
I'm sure when people see me this whole December, so I have natural hair because I had to cut my hair after I gave birth to Essie. So I started from scratch. I've never had natural hair in my life. So I'm intrigued by it because I'm learning all these new things, and I'm like DMing Sina, and I'm like, dog, this is looking dry. And then she tells me what to do. Yeah. So most of the time, I think I was actually thinking to myself, I'm like, this is the first time I actually have had makeup this year. And I was putting on makeup today. It's the first time but I'm forever at the shops. One thing about me, I like them all. Unless I'm ordering online, and I'm always running errands, and I'm always going out and about the house. So and even my dress code. I'm not gonna put on sparkles and diamonds to go to the mall. I'm gonna probably be in my sweatpants and be in flops and be in a t-shirt or whatever it is I feel like that day, because I also like to dress how I'm feeling and dress comfortable in a certain way. Yeah. So that's it's there's work, and then because that's what it has become. There's work, and then there's life, which is the bulk of it. Yeah.
Okay. And does it not affect you when someone, and I feel like I'm dwelling too much on this, but I really am intrigued by it. Like, does it not affect you when someone sees you and goes, "Hi, Buli, how are you doing?" Like, do you like that when people like see you in public?
It's not, and that's the thing. It's not a train smash, because sometimes then I forget. Okay. So the one day I'm going to Mr. Price home, and I put Essie in the trolley, and someone goes, "Hi, Essie. Hi, Mama Essie." And you're like, hey, because you forget that, oh, Jeman, this is part of what I do. But obviously, once you leave the house and you've got things to do, for me, I don't walk around like, hey, no, what is that going to do? It does nothing for me. Yeah. You walk around, it's just life as per usual. Sometimes we'll be with family, sometimes we'll be with friends. It's really normal for me.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's talk about marriage and friendships. So with marriage, I watch a lot of you and Kev's videos. You guys are so wise. I'm always like, wow. So the recent one that I watched was you guys speaking about the transition. You were on holiday and you were saying you shouldn't have recorded the other one.
Yeah, because it was too soon.
It was way too soon. But how has marriage been for you, and how have you kept your own individuality in marriage without start getting lost in it, in the whole institution, that you feel like you've lost the essence of who you are and you don't recognize yourself anymore?
You know, so obviously I was doing YouTube before I met Kev, or when I met him. No, before. And then we're getting married.
Yeah.
One of the ladies, so I had, I don't even know how many bridal showers.
Sure.
But my mom and her friends gathered. And it was the wives, because they have a group, they call it Makhubo. It's kind of like what you'd see, like couple families that gather once a month. So they're intentional. They gather once a month on a Sunday after church, and they have lunch. And this is something they've done, I'm sure, more than 10 years.
Wow.
So now the wives came. So my mom's friends and the wives came. And they were going around and they had pearls of wisdom. So every time a mom would speak, they would put a pearl on a string, and then it became a necklace.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it was 21 of them. And then at the end, that necklace, they put it on a sketched portrait of me, and they're like, we don't want you to forget this.
Wow.
So one lady stood out to me, and she's like, my dear, the only thing that I ask, and she looked me dead in the eye, and it made me emotional, because I'm like, don't cry, because I could see the water in her eyes. And I think just that gets me even to this day, where she said, don't lose yourself.
Sure.
You were Buli, you were doing this for your life, you were doing this for your life, you were doing this for your life. Just because you're getting married doesn't mean that needs to stop. Because what you are doing, it's who you are, and it matters.
Sure.
Don't stop doing what you need to do for your life. And I could see, that rocked me. Like, that's something that was like such an anchor. And then you get married, and then you can understand why she says that, because it's so easy to be consumed by this new role that you have to take on. And that's where we get it wrong, I think, as wives. It's a role, not our identity.
Sure.
So we make this thing and the misses, that prefix to our name, become the be all and end all.
Sure.
And it's not.
Sure.
Because God forbid something happens, and then you have to be, unfortunately, a widow, or something happens within the marriage, unfortunate, where now you guys have to get separated.
Sure.
That can't be your identity. Yeah. God gives you things, and you can't say, okay, this is who I am. God is saying, be a steward of this. The same way he gave the men different talents, different coins, different things. They didn't say, look at me, I'm the 5-talent guy. He did something with those things and presented them back to God and say, did I do a good job?
Sure.
So the same in marriage. We get married, and we don't understand that this role that we have to take on needs us, but it's not us.
Sure.
Because you're going to be a mother, is that role, and it's a lot, but it can't consume you.
Sure.
It can't consume you because it's demanding.
Yeah.
So those are the things, I think, for me, where getting married and still keeping the essence more than anything of who God made me to be, because I've got things to do.
Yeah.
And I love that my husband understands that, because even when we were away this past New Year's, and we're doing like a bonfire session, and and we went around saying what we would love, or what would make God smile if he sees this thing happening in our lives. And he's like, I know what would make God smile, to see me seeing my wife do what she's called to do fully. I just need to see her win. And that's a tick on my box.
Wow.
And you also need someone who's like that, who will give you room to come and do videos and to come and be a podcast and to assist if they can. Sometimes it's not their strength. But even to just support and say, hey, besides being the one who wants to make the bed or cook or whatever roles it is you do in the house, what else are you doing? So that's what matters in marriage.
Sure. If I had that horn, I would be like, boo, 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 boo. But that's because, that thing about stewardship and it being a role and not necessarily your whole identity, it speaks volumes to me, because I also had a lot of bridal showers, and at one of them, and I hope I don't offend anyone, but at one of them, I felt like, okay, maybe I'm not ready for marriage, because it was all about just serving him. And I felt like, but I want to wake up and go for my runs. Like, does that mean I can't because I'm supposed to be making breakfast? Does that mean I can't have devotion early morning? Does that mean my morning routine changes completely? And I ended up feeling like really shook. Like I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do this. Yeah. And I remember I texted my husband and I said, you know what, I don't think I'm ready for this. Like after like what they said here, and it's very traditional wives, and I understand why they said that, you know, because they're very traditional themselves. But I ended up feeling like if this is what it is, then I'm not ready. And I feel so much freedom in me now because I mean we've been married over a year now, and I've still been just doing my own thing, but just hearing that it's stewardship, it's God entrusting you with something and saying, here's a role for you to play it in a way that makes me smile for you guys, not necessarily that you must do what Mang Mang is doing or do what somebody else is doing. If for you it's cooking every day for your husband,
and that's okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's how people are wired. I mean, I'm not the most one thing about me. I enjoy cooking.
Yeah,
I enjoy cooking. It makes me happy sometimes. Kev watches this sometimes, but it makes me happy to cook and prepare a meal. But do I like doing dishes? Oh, Lord, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I don't iron. So you must, you know, then the moms will say, no, sorry, can we outsource? You know, things like that. It's just so much more freeing when you're just able to have conversations with your partner. It doesn't mean I don't honor you.
Yeah.
I honor you. You're my husband. I respect you.
Sure.
I love you. I want to serve you. It gives me great joy to serve. How can I make this home grow, right? Because it's part of my role. It makes me happy, and that's what I want to do. But I can't lose myself in that. So it then teaches you to put things in order, put them in the correct space. You know, okay, at this time, I'm going to be able to cook. I'm going to be able to do this, that.
Yeah.
And then, for example, when Essie came, the roles change up completely because it's like, there is no way I'm going to be able to change nappies and feed a kid and burp the baby and then cook and then still have sex and then still can't.
No.
Pick one.
Mark me absent.
Pick one.
Yeah.
Pick one. And I think that's where right now where relationships are heading, they are more open.
Yeah.
Not disrespectful.
Yes.
No, they are more open. Open to having conversation. To say, this is how I can serve you. Yeah. And I have the capacity for A, B, and C. Is this okay? Sure. What do you think? You know, and then everybody comes to the table and then we have a conversation about it.
That's so good. That's so good. What do you think are the 3 ingredients that make a marriage successful?
Oh my gosh. Communication.
Yeah.
And
been saying that one. Yeah.
You know what? We every time Kev and I, as the months and the years go by, we're like, dang. We're still understanding how huge this thing is. I know people would say that, but communication is an entire series all by itself because within communication there's conflict resolution, right? But I would say definitely communication. I would say, maybe 4 if I could add. I love the aspect of friendship. There's something about friendship that helps you connect.
Yes.
Definitely trust and sex. We try to run away from it as Christian people. We can't. We can't. There's something about intimacy. Funny enough, my husband and I were reading a scripture yesterday, right? I think I'm going to open it.
Okay.
Because he's got a bachelor's today. It's in Hosea. And he's supposed to talk about sex. And I think it's 4 verse 8. If I can find it, I'll try and find it. I'm going to try and find it here. But it says, when it says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. It says, something like, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And at the end of that verse, it says, because they don't have knowledge, even sex won't be satisfying.
Sure.
It's in the Bible. It's not me. So I was reading, I'm like, hey, did you see that? I'm like, did you see that? And I'm like, so why? Must we run away from the fact that this is so important, right? Yeah. Because then we get married and all of a sudden, I remember even our counselors when it was time for, like we had counseling on conflict resolution, communication, communication, respect, pain, boundaries, all those, the tongue, taming your tongue, all those, which were very important. I remember them to this day. And then on the last session where we're supposed to speak about sex just before when we stand to get married at church, then they're like, no, we want it to be very light, so let's not go to a restaurant, let's have it in a garden setting. We prepare snacks, set the table. And they're like, yeah, so you're gonna have sex now, so yeah, it's free, God wants you to do it, and don't withhold anything from your husband. And how is that it? Ma'am.
Yeah.
And then you get married, and because you grow up in a culture, that advocates for purity, and I'm all for purity. In fact, I don't want it to be only purity. I want it to be honoring God, because that's what it is. But you grow up in that, and now you have to undo this thing that you are so accustomed to saying, no, it's wrong, it's wrong, and then you have to undo that, and then you're like, but Lord, are there boundaries? How do I honor my husband? Is this off limits? You don't know what to tackle, how to tackle it. And over the years, which is obviously we won't even have to discuss it now, that's what the event will be about. But it will be unpacking God's way.
Sure.
And the freedom that God gives us, and really just going down to the nitty-gritties of, these are the boundaries, but this is why. But apart from that, it's, hey, man, do what you want to do, and this is why. So undoing and changing your mind and renewing your mind, but also stepping into what God wants for us. So for me, it's communication. It's sex, and creating not only sex, but intimacy. There's something powerful about intimacy. So communication, intimacy, trust, and friendship for me that matter. And obviously, definitely respect and honor. But I think within those four, those sometimes are a byproduct, because I can respect you but fear you and not want to be your friend. So I think those four for me matter the most.
Sure, that's so good. I'm so excited about this event.
Yeah.
I am going to be there, guys. Like, this is my word. I am going to keep it, and we are going to be there.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for Wife Talk since the beginning, since
2018.
before. Exactly.
No, 2019. 2019.
And then it was supposed to happen in 2020, I think.
Yes, 2020,
and then COVID hit.
So now we are here.
I'm expectant.
3 years later.
And it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
it's going to be amazing. Okay, let's talk about friendship.
Yes.
Buli, you have so many friends. You are so blessed because you have so many different friendship groups. I knew you with Busi and Jessica and Katli first. And then with Mpumi and Lebo and them now. Yes. And then, I don't know the others. Toby.
Then there's Tobes, who's just an entity pass. I'm actually friends with Tobes because of my mom.
Sure.
Yeah, my mom was just at youth, and she's like, after the service was a Friday night, after the service, she's like, where's your friends? And she's like, I don't have friends, I'm new here. My mom calls me. She's like, oh, please come meet me here by the door, because my parents are youth leaders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, meet me here by this place, whatever. Oh, then I come to him like, yes, ma. She's like, oh, here, puts my hand in hers and it's like, okay, there's a friend, bye.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like the most natural thing, right? So I love that. So there's Tobes, and
I actually know her little brother. We went to the same varsity.
Oh, really?
UCT, yeah.
Oh, is it? And then there's oh, no. So there's Tobes, and then there's Tabby and Randy. So Tabby and Randy I've known since, that's the one you're talking about.
Oh, Tabby. I'm talking about Tabby, sorry.
Yes, Tabby and Randy since preschool. Yeah, we've known one another since preschool. So those are like the different friends I've had in different seasons of my life.
How have you maintained those friendships? Because you have some from since preschool, some from church, some from right now, which is also difficult to even start a friendship right now. Like, now you already have your own belief systems, the way you know friendship to work, and your own way. You've developed a personality of your own. You have your own values. Yeah. And then now you have new friends who maybe share the same core values, but then have different ways of doing things, right? Yeah. So how have you maintained all your friendships throughout the years, and even your new friendships? How do you maintain friendship in this day and age?
Maintaining friendships throughout the years means fighting.
Sure. That's right.
Yeah, you have to learn how to fight. That's something that I learned, because I was that person. If I'm frustrated, I'm just like really frustrated, and I'm in my corner and I'm so upset. And by the time you see any kind of movement from me, it's either I'm gone, like I'm over it.
Sure.
Like, far gone, and that's unhealthy. That was something that I had to say, Buli, you need to learn how to communicate certain things. In fact, it was even Kev who's like, no, this is how I think we should do things. Let's not keep quiet and go in our own corners. That's not healthy. Let's talk things out. So friendships need you to fight, and fight in a loving way, but in an honest way. For me, for example, Randy and Tabby, imagine from preschool. We weren't in the same primary school together. We're not in the same high school. In fact, I wasn't with them at all during my high school life or part of life, and then we reconnected again in varsity. So it's all those things there. So now I'm like, I felt like I was playing catch up because they had so many memories and high school things, and it's all those things. And I was just like, I feel like I'm playing catch up here, and I don't like it. And it's like, I don't know how to, until I was able to say to them, I'm like, guys, this is how I'm feeling. This is how I'm feeling. And then again, different parts of life happen. So then I get married, and then it's the same thing. It's like, guys, you don't have to. It's just about communicating. Yeah. I'm married now. I'm not in jail. I can still go out, And that's how it has been with my relationships and my friendships. Because remember, when I was friends after high school with Busi, Jess, and Katli, we were all single at that time. And then Katli got married first. And then I got married. And then it's just one of those things where you can literally see the dynamics change and evolve. And it's just how to find your way and talk your way and sometimes fight your way through speaking about what you want, speaking about and I'm not even going to say boundaries. I don't think they're enough. Yeah, and boundaries that this is what... yes, you're married, but just because I'm single, that's also something that I had to learn. Just because I'm single doesn't mean I'm always available for you, babes. I got things to do, I had to learn that. I remember when I was with them for Friendsmas, people were like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you guys together in forever. And it's like, because life is so different. They're fully into ministry, Jess and Busi, but I'm with Gatli almost every other month or every other week. Like the whole of December, I'm sure every week I was with her. It's just that I'm not going to share it because there's babies and we're in the house and we're laughing and we're talking and we're complaining about this thing and this person and that. So we forget about our phones and we're so engulfed, because now I can understand. Remember, she got married first. So now I can understand why she did things the way she did things and why she kind of not separated, stayed within her family, and now we connect on a different level. So for me, it's just about learning how to fight our way through all these different changes. And I think that's where the essence of friendship really is. You have to be transparent. You have to fight and be honest. Like, if I love you, I want you to be a part of my life. Yeah. But then there are some times where you fully threshed it out and it's just not going to work anymore. And it's just about just letting it go. Don't be rude about it. Don't be ugly about it. Just, release it properly as best as you can. Unfortunately, it just didn't work.
Yeah. Okay, talking about it not working, how do you then what are your deal breakers in friendship? Like, I am not going to stand for this. And how do you then deal with friendship breakups? Because some people say it hurts more than romantic relationships breaking up. It's not my sentiment, honestly, but how do you deal with a friendship breakup, and what are your deal breakers?
For me personally, I'm just going to be a normal person. It just depends on the intensity of the friendship. Okay. Right? It just depends. So if I had to not be friends anymore for some odd reason, maybe, I don't know, with Katli, it would hurt my heart. Yeah. I'd be crying 40 days and 40 nights. Yeah. I don't, because that's just the depth of what we share. So I think everybody grieves differently and releases things differently. One thing I know about me, even in past relationships, for me, the best thing is out of sight, out of mind. Sure. So it's not a toxic thing. It's for me. Yeah. I don't. For example, ex-boyfriends, I don't want to see what you get up to. Yeah. Do you, baby? Yeah. I'm okay. I don't want to see what you get up to because it doesn't give you kind of need to work those feelings out, especially when you haven't seen someone for a long time that you weren't on good terms with them. You see them and your heart does that. That jump that it does. You need to work through that because that means they still affect you some way or another. You might say, no, I'm fine, and then let them come across, or let the perfume scent come, and then you're still touched about it. So for me, I heal differently. If I can talk it out, I can talk it out. If not, it's okay. Let's move on, and then I just separate myself. it's just about me, because I'm not trying to be involved in that thing. I guess they're natural. Some you might not want them to happen. Some they have to happen. I guess a deal breaker for me, dishonesty. Disrespect, I can't. I think even if you disrespect another human being, it doesn't have to be me. If you disrespect another person, I don't want to be associated with that, because I feel like if you can do that to them, you'll surely do it to me. Selfishness for me is it cannot, especially at our big age, only be about you. It can't only matter, because everyone is trying to, you will need support. It can't be that we must only support you and then you don't support other people. So there's so many things for me that respect, honesty or dishonesty can't do it. When you disrespect another person, I can't stand for it, because I feel like there's a certain way that you need to treat people, whether you like them or not. And selfishness, those are behavioral things that I just can't look past, really.
Those are big things. Those are big things. And then I think I would also add like disloyalty. Like for me personally, how you speak about me when you're with your other friends matters to me. Like you can't be trashing my name, not standing up for me when people are saying things that are not, that you know are not true about me, or disloyalty. I can't, and I'm the same. Like for me, I block. Like you can't be on my WhatsApp. I can't be seeing your statuses when I'm grieving the fact that this is over. Like. You know?
No, I had an experience that none of the friendship circles that you guys know, which is great. But I experienced that last year, and there was a lot of talking to the detriment of my marriage, and saying very nasty stuff. And I was just like, this doesn't need a sit down and apology session.
Nope.
It doesn't need it. This just needs, may God keep you and bless you. And remove, because there's certain things that you can't tolerate. Again, I'm protective. So even if my husband bores me, he bores me, but you don't have a right.
Exactly. You can't say something negative about him, but
I can. And that's the thing. So there's also boundaries. People need to understand boundaries and not looking down on another person because of the things that they have today, or whatever the case may be. Those things are, we are grown guys, we are adults. We can't tolerate those things anymore.
Sure. Thank you, sis. Okay, so I have a few questions. It's rapid fire session now.
Okay,
it's go. 5 rapid fire questions. You're gonna kill me for the first one, but I have to ask it. So Essie or Kev?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one.
I know.
No, why is this rapid fire? She's gonna leave me one day, Kev.
You have to. You know what? People often tell me that even when you have a child, please remember that your marriage shouldn't be like second now.
Now it is still first. In order of priority, Kev is still first. So
Okay.
After God.
Okay. So architectural technology or digital content
digital
creation?
content
Really?
creation. You ain't gotta even say that twice.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, so I've asked this one, but I asked it off air. I don't know if we were recording. So when are we getting a Wife Talk event?
Like I said, in April, should all go well. It literally just depends on the speakers. So by next week, I should have confirmed the speakers. It's getting it hot.
Yay!
Exclusive. A YouTube exclusive, but definitely in April. I'd love to do it before Good Friday and everybody goes to their different places and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's amazing. We are excited. If you weren't doing influencing or YouTube, so no digital creation, no influencing, nothing like that, no architectural stuff either.
Okay.
What career would you be in right now?
Oh my goodness. I would be an author.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Is that something that you are considering?
When Jesus says yes.
Okay. I can see that. You are so wise. Maybe now I'm digging too much. Okay, you'll tell us when you're ready.
Yeah,
what book is coming out or when. So how would you want to be remembered?
Oh my goodness. I'd love to be remembered as, number one, just someone who did what God told them to do.
Sure.
I think that's just my mission. As long as God says do it, I'm going to do it, because what he says today is not going to look the same as tomorrow. And there's so much freedom in that as long as I'm obedient. But more than anything, I want to be known as someone who loved and who gave love out, you know, and literally I'm not just going to say it, you're going to see it. So serving, loving out loud, that's what I want to be known.
Sure, I can see that. I was watching a video of yours because I actually prepared for this. You know, I did my research. I was on your YouTube, even videos I've watched. I was like, let me watch again to see what people are actually asking her, especially the Q&As. I'm like, what do people want to know about you? Okay. And I remember you said in the video, the last one, it was that Q&A that I told you I was watching from a year back. Yes. You were just talking about pouring love out. Guys, it doesn't cost you a thing to be kind to someone, to pour out your love. And I'll definitely remember you as that person, as someone who has such a big following. You are so down to earth. I think nowadays people kind of view you based on your following, based on numbers. What are you doing, how are you doing, numbers don't lie, are you number one, are you this, are you that, but you still are so down to earth. I remember telling my husband when I came back, I'm like, Habo, I was at the backyard picnic and Buli came to me, what? But I will remember you personally, truly, as that, someone who is so loving and so kind and so wise. You give me such big sis energy where you're just I got you, girl. What question do you want to ask me? Are you guys struggling with sex in your marriage right now? I got you, girl.
Let's go. Yeah.
But also as someone vulnerable, transparent, and someone who is obedient, but also so confident and so courageous. Thank you so much for being here. This is the first video that's going to go up on our channel, and I am so excited because I feel edified. I feel wow, I've learned so much from you. More than anything, it's to run after God and sit with him and be like, Lord, what do you want for me next? So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up. Please tell people how they can find you.
Oh, you can find me on Instagram and YouTube. I think those are the most important platforms for me right now. Buli, Makhubo.
Awesome. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. Please follow Buli. I'm sure you already are if you're on this video.
But just in case you're not.
Just in case you're not. Yeah. And please subscribe to her YouTube channel. She has awesome content, health, beauty, lots of vlogs, days in her life. You can kind of see what she does for campaigns if you're interested in that kind of thing. Wife talk, lots of vulnerable marriage conversations. Please do check her out. Thank you so much for watching until this far. Give us 3 red hearts if you've watched until this far. Thanks guys, love you, peace. Bye. Okay, bio, wife, friend, influencer, Christian celebrity.
No.
It is.
I just do what God tells me to do. That's literally all I can say. So I guess all those other things are parts of my life.
Yeah.
Those are the roles I play.
Sure.
But essentially it's just Buli, and I just do whatever Jesus says.
Sure. Okay. Do you still work your 9 to 5?
No.
Really?
No. Funny enough, I got contracted to work in an architectural firm, but for digital stuff. So it's actually really how life is turning around. But yeah, I haven't been working my 9 to 5 for a year.
What? Because the last Q&A video that I watched of you, you said you were still working your 9 to 5. It was like a year ago.
Yeah, right when Essie was born, when I was supposed to go back to work, I didn't go back to work.
Sure. That is insane.